Hey yo, what's up? My name is Tom Mizzles. You're watching my channel Mizzle 14, and I am doing the review of Iyanla Fix My Life. Mother doesn't always know what's best. Alright, so we get this story about Grace. She wrote Iyanla, and she's the daughter of Miss Eve. And her problem is she is torn in the battle between her mother and her wife, Kenyatta. She's in the middle. So apparently, her mother, Miss Eve, has a power of Kenyatta being there. And since then, Kenyatta and Miss Eve have been going battle with each other, back and forth, back and forth. And it's put on Grace in the middle, and the fact that she had to choose between her mother and her wife. Uh, Grace don't want to choose. She feel like she could do both, but the only thing is this: is that it's clearly a very distinction. It's clearly missed boundaries that's going on. Like boundaries are being crossed in each other's lives that is preventing this family to prosper and have a healthy relationship. Now, Grace is caught in the middle, right? We have Kenyatta. She's been in the military for a long time, I think for 9 years, certain years. So she had PTSD. So on top of that, she battling the the stress disorder of being in war. On top of all these extraness that she's getting in the house. Now, it was explained to us that Kenyatta and Grace they've been like dating for like been together for on and off for 20 years. They had been married for 10 years. Grace has been sexually fluid throughout her life. She had dated men, she had dated women, but she always been sexually fluid. So her mother didn't know that. So when Grace and Kiana got married and stuff like that, they was living separately for a while now. They just now got together living in their own house. And when Kiana got together with Grace and decided to live together, Grace's mother was already in the house for I think a year ago before Kiana moved in. So there was a misconception that Kiana moved in, and Yanni had to clear that up. It was like no, even Grace was saying that. Grace was saying that when Kiana moved in, when Miss Eve was saying Kiana moved in, I said no. The thing is that when Grace got married with Kiana, that house became theirs. So it's their house. You moved in, Miss Eve. You the guest in their house. Since you the guest in the house, you don't have much right to dictate how things go in the house and what needs to be done in the house, or how do you treat people in the house because you the guest and everything. So when she met with all of them, and when I first met Miss Eve looked like she was a very kind of like when Iyanla say a nice nasty woman. She came across as she didn't want to be touched, like she's like this and she don't need the help and everything, and she knows everything, she knows what's best, and she believes she ain't doing any wrong. Whereas Grace and Kiara came in, want to make the change, wants to make it work, wants to happen. They don't want to push Miss Eve out the house, but the toxic energy that Miss Eve is given make them not want to be around her in their own home. It's like, yes, they're in peace. And the problem is that Kiana and Grace never had a time for themselves to really actually live alone by themselves without any person, because they were been living separately. And when they just got together, living together, they didn't have that nested phase to be together because the mom was already there, giving the energy. So Miss Iyanla was like, where the problems lies. And basically all three is a factor in somewhat in this discord between the family, between them. And mainly because they feel like Miss Eve has been the main total problem, a major part of the problem that is presented. But according to Miss Eve, she don't feel that way. Miss Eve feel that she didn't any wrong. She feel disrespected, and since she feel disrespected, she has right to say something. Now, Iyanla says she usually talks to the person because most of the time Iyanla talks to the person who wrote them first. That's always she does. But this time she said, you know what? She decided to pick to somebody who she feel like has been the most problematic and where the problems potentially lies first, which is Miss Eve. All right. All right. So then yes. So Miss Eve feel like her problem is that she don't want Eve feel like Kiana don't want to share her with Grace. So she feel like Kiana's pushing her away. And it's just a whole aspect of being alone, fear of being alone, because she went along her little rant that she's tired of being alone. She has a fear of being alone. So when her daughter couldn't take her, it's like that because what Iyanla's asked her, what made you live with your daughter in the first place? And she basically said she was unhappy. She was in a marriage. The marriage was not going well. She was very unhappy in the marriage, just like that. She didn't want to be in it. She wanted a divorce. So when she said that, the guy packed her stuff and sent her to her daughter's house. Her daughter welcomed her in the house on arms because she told us that she was addicted to alcohol. Now, she was addicted to something else than alcohol, but she omitted that information. She was addicted to crack and alcohol. Now, it's one thing being addicted to alcohol because it does something to you. Yes, it does something to you. You might be a functional alcoholic or something like that, or you may do stuff. But when the crack does to somebody's body, does to soul, like somebody's soul, it does more to you than somebody being an alcohol or being an alcoholic. So being addicted to drugs and top of alcohol does something to make the person feel vile, make the person feel mean, make you feel like you're a different person. Something that you don't even realize is in you. Like you become a monster sometimes because it's all about your fix. It's all about you and your gratification. And when you're not getting what you want, you start lashing out. And that was that. So she'd been addicted to alcohol and stuff like that. So Grace took care of her in her house. Now, it come to find out that Miss Eve had been in 4 marriages, and all marriages fell. And her first marriage is because she was addicted to alcohol. So basically, Grace has been taking care of her mother because it's always been like that when her mom was not being a mother or something like that because she was addicted to drinking and drugs. Grace had to step up and take care of her mother because her mother was not self-sufficient. Her mom said she don't really get much information, get much money for Social Security, so she can't be on her own as much. Everything she does get a little bit. She does contribute to rent or something like that, but not as much that she wanted to, want to be. So she just had to do what she had to do and be in the house. Except the fact that Kiana moved in, that's where the problem starts because it was no issues when Kiana was not there. But it became an issue when Kiana moved in the house. But it's not, she ain't moved in. Grace, you moved in. Kiana was just living and starting building life together with Grace in their own home. So they had this idea that, oh, since Kiana moved in, she is the problem. So she moved in and just disrupt the harmony between us. And that's not the issue. Now, Iyanla went in because after she was dancing around saying all this stuff that she been in fear, she been alone, all that stuff. She want to be alone. She has to all this. But I would say, what's your issue with Kiana? And she was like, do you feel that because Kiana is lesbian, gay, she turned your daughter out? And because Miss Eve does said that yes, Kiana is this older woman, and I have a problem that she's an older woman. Prey on my young one, and maybe possibly convince her or seduce her to build with her. So she has a problem with that. Now, Iyanla asked her specifically, how do you feel about Kiana being attracted to women, being a lesbian, so like that? And or how do you feel about Grace being married to a woman? She said she don't think it's biblical. Now, she said she don't think. That's not how she feels. She never really came across and say how she feels. Does it make her feel sad? Does it make her feel angry? Does it make her feel hurt? All she going about, so it's not biblical. It's not right. The Bible said it can't be this way, it's like that. But that's where we anyway, regurgitating about our old ways of the Bible. How do you feel? And now she said, but then she went on this thing that she feel like every time something going on, she feel like somebody's blocking her way to a promised land. So she said, "Who was your promised land?" And it said living with her daughter and Miss Kiana. And she said, "Why is that?" And it's feel like she said that's the only way I feel accepted. I feel wanted. I always feel like somebody kick her to a curve. So all her life she feel like somebody's always kicking her out and not being bothered with her. So she always feel like she's alone. And since Grace has always been there for her, it's like that. Why not leave? Why leave and being somewhere when I could be here and take the benefits of being helped and being loved and being wanted. Like, and they went on further explain why and Iyanla said, what if your presence there causes this tension? She said, I don't believe my presence is causing this. So you trying to say that since I'm around, is all this shit is happening, all this stuff is happening, so I should remove myself and all this issues there. Iyanla didn't tell you to move. She didn't say you had to move. She said, what if your presence is triggering a lot of this discord, a lot of this stuff between you, your daughter, and your daughter-in-law? What if your presence being there is the issue? She said, well, I don't think my presence is, and I don't think it's that. So she was coming off as a very cold-hearted person. Like, she said, no, I'm not mean, I'm not this, I'm not doing that. So she believed, Miss Eve believed that her presence there would help them in the long run. It would be better for them while she being there, and not knowing that it's not helping, and realize that if the energy was different, if things was different, and the fact that it was no argument, it was no tension, then it was no be an issue for Grace feel that she should choose, or Kiana feel like that you need to get out if it was different. Now, she did met with Graceland on next, and Grace said she feel torn between Kiana and her mom. And she said she made a promise to both of them. So she said, what's your promise to your wife? I promise to be there together, live together, grow old together. She said, what's your promise to your mom? So always take care of her. Now, so we know that her mom is addicted to drugs and alcohol. Now, this time, Grace revealed to us that her mom was addicted to drugs and alcohol. She said, oh, what drugs? She said, crack. She said, oh, she didn't tell me she was on crack. I said, yeah, she was on crack and drinking. And since then, she always had this codependency thing with her mom, which is kind of dangerous because you go codependent. You believe that you had to be there for your mom. You had to make the compromise. You had to make it work with your mom and do things for your mom to also accept you. So that's making a codependent kind of relationship. Your mom is dependent on you because you take care of her and with her addiction, and you go depend on your mom for being complete and being wanted, and not being wanted, but also be satisfied and take care of her. So she never had the chance to grow up and be a child, a teenager when her mom could raise her. She had to be an adult real quickly, but her mom was inadequate to even take care of her role as a mom. So I was keep insisting that Miss Eve is the elder. You need to realize the situation, and just telling her that I'm not saying you need to leave out the house, but at the same time, you need to assess the situation and make an informed decision about what is going on and how do you proceed in this kind of situation when you're going through. And so she always had to take care of mom. That's what her always thing is. So she always feel like she had to take care of mom, which is not right for her to do that, because when you're in a marriage now, it's all about you and building your relationship with your marriage. The fact that you feel obligated to help your mom is what is hindering the process and hindering the marriage you was with Kiana right now. Now, Miss Iyanla did ask Miss Eve, do you know that Kiana have PTSD? She said yes. She said, what if her PTSD is not triggered so much directly towards you about what she's going through, and on top of the stress that's associated with being at the war is coming at you as some way? And she's like, oh, didn't believe that, but that was that. So, and from there, we get a thing that Miss E told the producers that this is the first time she wanted to kill herself. So she wanted to harm herself. So Miss Iyanla checked on E, and this E was just, as much as she's saying that I'm tired of being unwanted, I'm tired of people letting me go. It's like, yes, it's my first time in my whole life that I feel like I should be killing myself, because she said if I'm gone, that things would be different. And Iyanla was trying to get understands that it's not about you thinking that if you go leave, it will get better. It's the fact that you need to realize getting better and helping the situation is more of your energy you putting off at the house. If your energy was different, it probably wouldn't even be an issue you being there. But the fact that you giving energy, you rebuking the name Kiana, you booking Kiana, saying that she need to go to hell, she's the devil, all that stuff, it's all adding to the fuel to the fire, where it's caused a lot of tension between y'all. Now then we met, Iyanla met with Kiana, and Kiana was saying that she just feel very disrespected, and she feel like she's being evil. No, that she was being evil and disrespectful towards Miss E. That's what Evie was saying that towards her. And now Iyanla picked over and saying, maybe you saying all that stuff because like you a bogus little girl, and how your childhood when you growing up. And Kiana realized, she said she had been picked on a lot for not being feminine, for being different from other females, just like that, for being different. So from there, she always had that fear of she being picked on by Miss E. Like Miss E was coming at her just like she was. I was a younger age, so she always felt that guard up, and it's like that. She don't like me because she gonna keep coming after me. No matter what, I was gonna be the blame. And when what happened, I'm gonna be the blame. So if she gonna keep picking at me, that's what I don't like. So so that was that. So there we get this thing where Iyanla had them in an exercise in their own lane and boundaries, because I feel like the boundaries had been crossed. Now, Grace did feel like she did mention that she has PTSD, and she said, did you know your daughter had PTSD as well? She said no. She said Grace realized she got PTSD since the time when she had to first take care of her mom with her addiction. And that's what Iyanla said, oh, you addicted to drugs. She said, oh yeah, I was addicted to drugs. He said, that's when you didn't even tell me that. She said, well, I don't think I need to, because I don't admit it. I just ain't want to tell you that. She said, why you didn't tell me you was addicted to both? Because she said it was no need for you. I just admit that information. So I told you what I had. So she said, you trying to lie and manipulate the situation. And she is trying to manipulate how she's handling the story, because you don't tell the whole truth, then you get different diagnosis. If you would have told Iyanla that you were addicted to crack and alcohol, then it would have been a whole different approach than what you gave them. So she was saying, nah, it's not like that. So she was telling Kiana, saying, Miss Eve, that since you going directly to Grace and complaining to Grace about Kiana and not even talking to Kiana, you are stepping out of your lane and going into Grace's lane, and that's not right. Now, Grace said when you keep being codependent, totally Grace, when you keep codependent on your mom and always enabling your mom about behavior, you overstepping your boundaries and going there in her lane and then going there. Now, told to Kiana, how do you feel when she tell you this? It's like that. She said, I feel hurt, I feel disrespected. It's like that. And how do you feel that when she's saying that you go to hell, you go to evil, so like that in the house? She said, I don't like that. So Miss E was not having that. She said, nah, I'm not trying to do this. No, she been mean to me, and since I being mean, disrespectful, all stuff, I had to come back to her because I only do this because she being mean to me. Now, Miss Iyanla get to sit down with her again, Miss Eve, and talk to Miss Eve about it. And Miss Eve had been very resistant. She didn't want to see that she's a problem. She don't want to see that she's she haven't given any reason to apologize, any reason to change, because she feel like she done anything wrong. Now, we had to talk to her about that, and she would have said, "Oh, that's the way I got from the church." So she was like, how Miss Anna was coming at her. It was like, listen, you have a problem with her being gay. You have a problem with her being a woman. You have a problem with her being a lesbian. It's like that. And you have a problem with that. She married your daughter. Let's be for real. You have a problem with that. And she said, why you don't preach that? She said, well, I don't think the Bible allows that like that. She said, why you don't preach that outside of the street? She said, well, I want to go down the street because that's where you go to the street, not in their home. You don't preach that in their home. You don't rebuke her in their home. You like do somewhere else. And so she was saying, people at church don't think I'm mean. And she's not thinking about church because people don't treat me like that. Mean, like I'm not mean at church. She said, they probably not say that to you directly, but they probably feel that way because if the way how you came off at there, be very vile, very vicious, be a monster. Because Iyanla called out us like that. It's like, do you realize how you was at the room? Like it was a vile, vicious monster that come out of you. And she said, I don't think that. She said, you very mean instead of mean spirited. And she said, I don't think I am on stuff. And I said, they might even talk to you about that. But you have that thing in you, and you need to work on that. So, and then she went down a whole little speech on her. It was like, listen, you have to change something. And so then she had to realize her actions. After a while, she started to realize, Miss E started to realize that she has been a problem and she needs to change. And she want to work on that. It took her a while to get there, and she realized she had to get work on that. So Grace and Kiana talking and say like we're gonna support each other. She gonna give her mother 90 days to be self-sufficient and have her work on being her own. So they approached that to Miss Grace. She said, I believe that. I don't think I can handle that. And Grace and her have a hug out and apologize and forgive each other. To Miss Grace, Miss Eve just asked for forgiveness and stuff like that. And she also talked to Kiana about getting forgiveness. And Kiana gave her accepted her forgiveness. And also Kiana apologized for being disrespectful. So they all hugged it out. And it was like, it was very nice. And that's how it ended. And we did come and find out that Miss Grace did get her own place. And there had been good communication and they work on it and stuff like that. And Grace said it's been very stressed and each person keeping their own boundaries. Now, Iyanla did say that at the end that was like a relationship always prosper in a healthy way no matter where you at. A good relationship always have clear boundaries, clear agreement, clear effective and helpful communication, and the willingness to accept that you are wrong and ask for help. If he does this thing, you will have a good relationship. And that's what Iyanla fixed my life, y'all. It was different because I think a lot of people can relate to the story because a lot of families don't like this. It's like they have somebody gay, whatever, in the house and marriage and feel put to the side and you have a sibling and it's a lot going on. So please like, comment, subscribe to my channel. Tell me what y'all thought about this episode and I'll talk to y'all later. Alright? Later.